Back here, first things first, we're now joined by our good friend Chris Bosh. You know, two-time NBA champ Chris Bosh, 11-time All-Star,
Yes,
recently selected member of the 2021 class to the Basketball Hall of Fame, Chris Bosh. Chris, we've been really excited to have you this morning. The guys are all pumped up. Good morning. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's dive into the game last night because we got a lot we want to talk to you about. So, Bucks-Nets, Game 2. Nets coming in with no James Harden, but no, it didn't matter. Brooklyn blowing him out, beating the Bucks by 39 points. How about KD? Looked like the best player in the world last night, 32 in the win. So let's start with you, Chris Bosh. How surprised are you by how this series has played out so far through 2 games?
You know, I got to be honest. I'm very surprised. Not that the Nets have defended their home court aggressively. More so just the lack of intensity from the Bucks. They have been, you know, doing a good job.
Chris,
who's behind you?
That did not work.
We're fixing some stuff. Sorry, I got some stuff all over the place.
My
God,
fantastic.
Great. I just want to make sure it's not someone being kidnapped. You're good.
Yeah, you know.
Make sure someone you know.
Oh, goodness.
It's surprising, just the effort or lack of effort from the Bucks. You expected them to come out with, you know, some intensity, hopefully trying to get to the finals. And you want to see better body language. You want to see them be more intense. You definitely want to see them do more. I mean, I'm just surprised, you know, just on offense and on defense. To get drugged by 40 points on the road, that's not sending the right message. Hopefully they could go back and defend home court, but they're definitely not in a position you want to be in being in a series.
Chris, I want to talk to you at some point during this about 2 power forwards. One is Blake Griffin, and we can get to him in a moment. The other is Giannis. And I asked you off the air, you know, something early in your career that you weren't great at that you grew into. And you said, listen, when I was in Toronto early on, guys thought they could bully me down on the block. They thought they could get physical with me. And I'm curious if you ever went into a game before you were great at it, before you had gotten over that hurdle, and you were basically, you knew they were challenging you on it, and you went into the game saying, I'm going to prove to them I can do it, even if you couldn't quite do it yet. The reason I ask is it felt to me like Giannis yesterday knew they were challenging him to shoot jump shots, and he fell into their trap. Like it's like he gave them, it was almost like he was trying to prove a point that he didn't need to prove. Am I reading too much into that, or like, can you relate to that? Did you see the same thing?
Well, I mean, you do have to play your game, right? You do have to find that balance of playing your game and, of course, working on those weaknesses, and that so you have to improve on. And look, he's going to have to knock down a couple of open jumpers, but the Bucks are in their wheelhouse when he's being aggressive, when he's attacking the paint, when he's collapsing the defense, and then they're getting to that ball movement on their close, you know, working on closeouts and continuing to move the ball. I think, you know, yeah, he can't settle too much. If you look at these highlights, they're down already 20 points. And look, it's not going to be hinging on him shooting jump shots. They've got to get stops. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If KD, you know, yeah, KD, you're probably not going to be able to hold him under 35, 40 points a game. But if he's shooting at the clip that he's shooting at, it's impossible to beat these guys. You know, so they're going to have to get KD down under 50% from the field. They're going to have to start playing better defense. And, yeah, Giannis is going to have to be much more aggressive and stop letting him off the hook. I mean, you know, again, they're down, they got down big, and usually you're not going to get back into the game shooting jumpers. So I expect Giannis to be extremely aggressive in these next couple games. And, you know, I expect the Bucks to get back to their game, because if they don't, I mean, you know, they put themselves against the wall pretty quickly. We'll see how they respond.
Yeah, Chris, I hear you on the defensive stuff, man, but it will help if Giannis can develop a shot. You were a guy that developed a shot, you know, through the years. I mean, you always had that corner shot, but then when you talk about shooting from deep, you know, as time went on, you got better. So maybe he needs to come down to Austin and work with you this offseason. So give your boy a call. But I want to talk about the Nets here, man. You guys put together a big big three down in Miami. When you saw the Nets, you saw James Harden, those guys put this team together, what was the number one thing that you thought they needed to overcome to be able to be in this position today?
I think their biggest challenge, of course, is always going to be sharing the ball. What kind of continuity they're going to have on offense, how they're going to be moving on a string together on defense, and of course, how they're going to play together, how they're going to gel as a team, and more importantly, of course, how the other guys on the team, the bench players, the role players, how they're going to accept and excel at their role, and really just dealing with the pressure. I think, they're the title favorites, of course, even without Harden. I think a lot of people still have them picked to win. For them, it's just going to be dealing with the pressure and dealing with those moments of when it's more or people are trying to make it more than just the game. So as these playoffs advance, they do get harder. We'll see how they continue to respond. And really, they're gelling together nicely. They're gelling quickly. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond when they're challenged, because they will be challenged. I don't expect everything to be as easy as it's been. But, with that said, they have a lot of talent on that team. They're playing well together. The bench is stepping up every time. We'll see how it goes as the playoffs continue.
Quickly, that first finals that you guys made it to, it seemed like there was a ton of pressure on y'all, like the weight of the world on y'all. I don't feel that from the Nets. Do you feel that the Nets have the same pressure that you guys had down in Miami?
No, it's a bit different. People seem to like this team a little more. They're backing this team a little more, which is fantastic. It's good to just see them, like I said, come together as a team, gel together as a team, because that's a difficult thing. With that said, the pressure on them is to win, just like it is always. The Eastern Conference Finals, the finals, those are very, very hard situations. And they have some things to work out with Harden not being available right now, with him having that nagging injury. I'm interested also to see, with them not playing a whole regular season together, if fatigue will be a factor. We're seeing KD play at a high level like he's capable of, Kyrie playing at a high level, but with struggling with injuries the way they have all year, not having their feet under them, I love to see how if endurance will play a factor in these playoffs.
Chris, I want to ask you about the margin of victory. This is a quote from Giannis after the game. At the end of the day, if you lose by 1 or lose by 30, it's still the same. Still you lose. Do you buy that? Do you buy that, like, if it was a close game, the Bucks would feel the same way, the fact that they got blown out?
I know what Giannis is doing, and it is true, but no, that is look, we're not in the Bucks locker room. There's a difference, okay? Now, with that said, we're gonna see what the Bucks are made out of, okay? Getting drug on the road, 2 games in a row, that's a bad situation to be in. But they're going home. We'll see how they respond. All the pressure is on for Game 3. We've got to see a heartbeat. We've got to see some life, because that's embarrassing. And if you consider yourself a championship team, you're going to have to respond. Not that you'll lose by 30s on some nights. That might happen, but it's all in the response. They're going to have to win a game in Brooklyn. So, they're in a predicament. The playoffs have started. They're in a predicament right now. We're going to see if they're serious about their championship beliefs.